Everything you think you know about selling toys to parents is a lie. And honestly, the industry has been gaslighting you for decades. You think they are selling joy. You think they are selling education. You are wrong. They are selling a guilt cleansing service for parents who are too busy working and feel like they are failing their kids. The $107 billion global toy industry isn't built on the laughter of children. It is built on the tears of parental anxiety. It is built on the fear that your child will fall behind cognitively or lose their future to the brain rot of an iPad screen. Imagine this. Every single year, millions of tons of plastic end up in landfills because a child got bored in exactly 7 minutes. This isn't just a waste problem. It is a systemic failure of an ancient business model called retail. And in the middle of this moral and financial wreckage, one name emerged to set the rulebook on fire: Gigglescape. They didn't just sell a play space. They cannibalized an entire industry. And if you don't understand how they played the game, your business, no matter what you sell, will be nothing but a dusty memory in 5 years. Let us go back to the year 2022. The United States and Europe were in a state of absolute chaos. Store owners were trembling at a term that sounded like the end of the world: the retail apocalypse. Massive flagship stores in London, Paris, and New York were closing their doors one by one. Why? Because the digital god known as Amazon had become invincible. People did unfeel the need to walk to a store just to buy a doll or a set of building blocks. Everything was just a click, a swipe, and a delivery at the doorstep within 24 hours. But there was a massive, gaping hole that no algorithm could fill: loneliness and isolation. In megacities like Berlin or San Francisco, public spaces are shrinking. They are expensive and they are cold. Millennial parents, they have the money. They have the latest gadgets. But they have zero community. They are trapped in cramped apartments with children whose eyes are glued to iPad screens for 6 hours a day. Data from recent European child mental health journals shows that screen time skyrocketed by 40% since the pandemic. The result? Social anxiety in children under the age of 6 reached record highs. The market was starving for something real, something tactile. But traditional stores like Toys R Us were already bankrupt. Why did they fail? Because they were rigid. They were just warehouses with fluorescent lights and cardboard boxes. They had no soul, no interaction. This was the battlefield. A market rich in cash, but starving for human connection. Gigglescape entered this market with an idea that looked like a suicide mission. Even their early investors said it was a mistake. The biggest problem in the kids' entertainment business is what I call the fading magic. Have you ever taken your kid to a playground, paid a massive entry fee, and after 30 minutes they are bored, cranky, and screaming to go home? That is a nightmare for ROI, return on investment. The cost of real estate in downtown London or Manhattan is astronomical. We are talking hundreds of thousands of dollars every single month. If a customer comes once and never returns, what we call a high churn rate in marketing, your business will die in less than 12 months, guaranteed. There is no cure for a high churn rate in a higher rent district. The second problem is stasis. Play centers are usually boring. The same slide, the same ball pit that smells a bit weird, and the same faded decorations. Humans, especially children, are the fastest bored creatures on planet Earth. Once they have seen every corner of the room, the novelty value drops to zero. You cannot renovate a building every month. That is a cash-burning strategy for idiots. Gigglescape was facing a massive, hard wall. How do you get parents to pay a high monthly subscription fee for something they usually only do once in a while on a weekend? Then came the epiphany. This is the turning point. The team behind Gigglescape realized something that ivory tower marketing experts always miss. They stopped seeing themselves as a playground or a toy store. They realized they were in the business of dopamine and connection management. Here is the secret. Parents aren't actually looking for a place for their kids to run around. Parents are looking for validation. They want to feel like they are good parents. And on the other side, children are looking for a storyline. The solution wasn't a taller slide or more expensive toys. The solution was play as a service. You don't rent a space. You subscribe to your child's cognitive growth. This was a radical shift from a transactional model. Not just an entertainment expense. This was the key insight that changed their technology and their business forever. Do you know how casinos in Las Vegas are designed to make you lose track of time? Forget the outside world and keep gambling. Gigglescape did the same thing, but for education. They did unused tacky primary colors like bright red or neon yellow that cause overstimulation and tantrums. Instead, they used calm earth tone palettes, which, according to environmental psychology journals, can increase a child's focus by 40%. Imagine that. Step 2. And this is where the technology gets intense, the data-driven play. Every child who enters is given an RFID wristband. You might think, why? That sounds like a music festival. But here is the genius part. That wristband isn't for decoration. It tracks every second of the child's movement. Which zone do they visit most? How long do they spend at the building blocks? Do they prefer art or physical activity? Gigglescape gives social proof to the parents that their child has a specific talent. Imagine the feeling as a parent reading that email. Wow. My child spent 40 minutes building a bridge structure. You are coming back next week. The loyalty loop is complete. They partner with premium educational toy brands globally for a rotation system. The toys are swapped every 2 weeks based on the data trends from those RFI wristbands. So, every time a customer returns, the place feels new. It smells new. The vibe is new. But don't think for a second that this was an easy ride. Their customer acquisition cost, or CAC, skyrocketed to 5 times their original budget. Their digital ads were getting 0 clicks. Londoners thought the concept was too American, too loud, and they didn't trust a subscription model for a playground. In 6 months, Gigglescape burned through $2 million in cash. The bank account was drying up. Investors started screaming. In their headquarters boardroom, the tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. There was a heated argument between the creative team and the finance team. Where you give everything you have, and the market just spits in your face. Ugh, it feels like a betrayal. Gigglescape was at its absolute lowest point. They had enough cash to survive exactly 8 more weeks. Imagine that. Thousands of hours of work, beautiful designs, all about to vanish into bankruptcy because they failed to understand one specific market. This was the do-or-die moment. The moment where only the strongest and smartest survive. Gigglescape did the opposite. They raised their membership price by 20%. But they added one crucial facility, a parents-only co-working space integrated inside the play area. They realized that the problem for London parents wasn't just about the kids. It was about their own work-life balance being broken. By adding a soundproof, glass-walled workspace where they could see their kids while taking a Zoom call, Gigglescape transformed from a play center into a life-saving office for parents. The result? An explosion of growth that made no sense to traditional analysts. Within 1 year of that London crisis, their annual revenue surged to $50 million. They managed to drop their churn rate from 15% down to a staggering 2%. In a subscription-based industry, 2% is almost impossible. But they did it through data and empathy. A data-driven physical experience is the new gold. Their social proof is everywhere. From celebrity Instagram posts to serious LinkedIn testimonials from CEOs who say Gigglescape saved their productivity and their family life. But in the progress of the customer, your business value isn't in what you sell. What is the boring part of your service that you think is normal, but is actually a poison killing your customer loyalty? Remember this framework: data plus emotion equals absolute loyalty. Don't just collect data to make a boring PowerPoint presentation. You might be thinking, but I don't have millions of dollars like Gigglescape. Listen to me. You don't need to be a giant to use this strategy. If you sell clothes online from your bedroom, don't just ship a shirt in a plastic bag. Include a small card with a style guide or tips on how to care for that fabric based on what they bought. That is the simplest form of data-driven service. If you are a freelance graphic designer, don't just send the file and disappear. Send a small report explaining why that design will help your client's business grow. Give them proof that the money they spent on you is an investment, not a cost. The world is moving too fast for generic marketing. People are sick of empty promises. They want real results they can feel, measure, and be proud of. So, take a moment to reflect. Has your business become just a second choice because you have no emotional bond with your customers? Are you giving them a giggle of happiness? Or are you just giving them trash that they will forget in 7 minutes? Gigglescape succeeded because they understood how to manage human psychology with extreme precision. But did you know there is another company called Liquid Death? They just sell plain water in a can. But their valuation is now over $700 million because of one high-risk marketing strategy that everyone thought was insane. Because you do not want to miss the strategies that can turn even the most basic product into a global obsession. Let's talk. Because the best lessons come from our shared experiences. I'll see you in the comments.